Hi, I'm Doug here at Global West, and today I thought I'd talk about C2 and C3 Corvettes. That's from 63 through 82. What I have on the table is a stock upper control arm, and we had a client call us up so to know if we could put our Del-A-Lum bushings in a stock arm for him. Sure we can. So I wanted to explain a few things. For a stock upper control arm on these particular Corvettes, you're going to have a shaft that looks like this. Now when he sent his in, he actually had two style of upper control arm shafts. So you've got your arm and this shaft goes in between the bushings here, and this is what you see attaching the arm to the frame. There's two styles, and he happened to have one of each. This is a stock shaft, and you can see here where the bolt goes through that attaches it to the shaft is rounded, and the other style is more straight. Okay. Both of these were found on the Corvettes from the factory through those years. He just happens to have one of each, which is kind of unusual. Usually they'll be the same type on each side. So somewhere along the way something happened. At any rate, the part number for this particular kit to go to a Del-A-Lum bushing in a stock upper control arm is a 1030. Now a 1030 comes obviously with the Del-A-Lum bushings, but it also has studs. And I'm going to tell you why. On a shaft like this from the factory, normally what holds the bushing in place is a bolt and a washer. You got a bolt, lock washer, and then a large flat washer that goes around the rubber bushing. If you try to put a Del-A-Lum bushing in this application, what will happen is as the control arm goes up and down, going over bumps and what have you as you drive it, it will actually back that bolt out. And you may have had this happen even on your stock control arm. That's a pretty common thing to have take place. So we can't have that. We have to maintain our settings on the Del-A-Lum bushing. So in order to do that, we have to convert it over to something that's got a slotted hex nut like you'd find on your wheel bearing. What we have to do is we have to convert this shaft over to this style so we can use the Del-A-Lum bushing property. The way you do that is on the end of the shaft. This is going to tap in. It goes in here like so. You'll tap it in like that, and it's going to be welded at the seam. We prefer TIG welding. Once you have that done, the shafts are going to look something like that. And then when you push the bushing on here, I'll show you how that goes. You've got steel washer, thrust washer, bushing and insert, outer thrust washer, outer steel washer, and then you put the nut on and set your torque. Or shall I say lack of torque. You just set the preload on the bushing so you have no end play. There's no clearances between the thrust surfaces. So when it's on the car, it's going to look something like that in the control arm. So there's welding involved. The part number is a 1030, and it gets the job done. But if you don't want to use the stock shafts, you could use these shafts. Now we manufacture these shafts all ready to go. Obviously there's no welding. This is a stock shaft, 719 shaft for the stock control arms or our tubular arm. And then we have the 706 shaft. Now if you'll notice, this shaft is offset versus this. This is where the bushing rides right here compared to the shaft. And see how this one is offset? The bushing rides over here, but it's not on center line of the shaft. This is something you should do if you're doing a stock upper control arm. And the reason why is because this offset allows you to either push the arm out or move it in, depending on what you want to do in reference to the type of, you might be racing the car, or you may have a frame problem. You may have just an alignment issue, period. So this shaft should go in. We recommend it if anybody's doing a stock rebuild, referring to stock arms, going to this shaft. Because this gives you a lot of latitude in your alignment and can solve any problems that you may have or the frame may have. These are direct, no welding involved. So going over this, the 1012 kit, or the 1030 kit, shall I say, comes with studs. If you were to decide to go to one of our shafts and eliminate any welding at all, it would be a 1012 kit because that doesn't have the studs in them. This particular kit will fit 63 through 82. This kit is really pretty simple to install. And we happen to be doing an installation on this gentleman's control arms in the next day or two. We're going to send these out and get them powder coated. What I'd like to do is we're going to do another video and we will show you how to install this particular kit, but we're going to be using the offset shafts. Customer requested that, which is a good way to go, in the control arm. And we'll take you from start to finish. And one of the other things we're going to do is when we're talking about this 1030 kit and these studs, we're going to go ahead and show you how to weld the studs in the shafts in case you decided to go that way and not do the 706 or the 719 shaft. You still need to know how to do this. And there's a couple tricks we have when we're doing the welding on this, and we're going to show you in that video. So stay tuned for our next video on C2, C3 Corvettes. That's 63 through 82, and we'll show you how to do it. You know, I'm talking about these shafts that, for the factory, the different styles that they have, you know. And like I said, the customer has both. And then we have to weld these studs in. I need to show you something just real quick. We're going to show you how that happens. But check this out. So see this style of the shaft? Notice this area right here. So this is okay. Goes in the control arm, just like it's supposed to. But now we want you to, we got this style, right? And we want you to weld the studs into the ends, right? That's what you got to do. Well, you can't do this. Okay? Now the way the factory did it back in the day was they did this. Easy stuff, right? But guess what happens when I change the length of the shaft and go along? I put this in here like so. This is what's going to happen. Even when I push that down further, I'm still going to run into troubles. So with this style of shaft, we actually either weld one side first, put the stud in on the other with this in the arm and weld it up, or, which is the easiest way, or you weld it in the arm the way it is and just rotate it to one side then the other. Big difference with the style of shafts you have, whether it's going to fit the control arm after you put the studs in, where these go through even the offsets. Simple. Something else to think about between welding studs and buying shafts that work for you right out of the box. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in other videos that we may do or other products that we may have, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on Instagram. Thanks again.